Pro-Palestinian activism amongst young people and university students in the United States has triggered a hysterical establishment crackdown. The US government is trying to ban TikTok. The police are being set on peaceful protesters. This as the right-wing self-described anti-woke crowd are advocating for safe spaces for supporters of settler colonial apartheid and want to cancel, yes cancel, professors, students, and anyone who dares criticize the genocide in Gaza. Even the leader of the Israeli regime itself, Benjamin Netanyahu, has chimed in on the issue and labeled the diverse group of anti-war protesters as vicious anti-Semites. This even goes for the scores of Jewish activists who are present in every demonstration. As the Columbia University encampment continues to inspire college students across the United States to pressure their own academic institutions to divest from companies with ties to Israel, they are met with smears from the corporate media, suspensions, confrontations with riots and anti-terrorism police, as well as threats that the National Guard be called in to deal with them. Attacks on academic freedom over the right of students and professors to speak up in favor of Palestinian human rights has been rampant. In the laughable case of the Wall Street Journal, they've even tried to suggest that Hezbollah, Ansarallah, and Hamas are truly behind the peaceful student protests. Pro-Israel AIPAC-affiliated groups and pro-apartheid activists are also jumping into action in attempts to escalate their smear campaigns against students and scholars. All of this has raised more questions as to why some 38 states in the US have passed anti-constitutional laws and executive orders that outlaw the right of American citizens to boycott Israel, a clear violation of their First Amendment rights. The expressions of free speech from students, mass peaceful demonstrator movements, and professors are being labeled as acts in support of terrorism. This is, despite their actions, clearly coming in support of human rights, anti-racism, and Palestinian liberation, while on the other hand, politicians, lobby groups, and media pundits who support financing the mass murder of Palestinian civilians in Gaza, and are in most cases being paid huge sums for their pro-war stances, are portrayed as the moderates and victims. Yet despite all the labels, smears, and even physical attacks upon members of the US's pro-Palestinian anti-war movement, the people are refusing to back down. All of this is bad news for corporate-owned politicians in Washington, who fear that their use of tens of billions in taxpayer dollars to finance Israeli war crimes, after receiving hefty donations from the Israel lobby groups to do so, will finally begin backfiring on their political careers. It appears that the more the establishment attempts to suppress, censor, attack, and smear the activists, the further their actions escalate, triggering an even wider movement of mainly young people who are willing to sacrifice their futures in support of Palestinian human rights.